Hey everyone, welcome to the results video of my Dueling coaster contest. In this contest everybody had to make a Dueling coaster with some extra rides on a map that was maximum 50 by 50 tiles. There were 29 entries. In this video I will try to show all of them quickly. Of course, if you want to take a look at any of these parks, they really deserve it. You can become a member on my Discord. I have an archive there where you can download all the entries and look at them for yourself. I recommend you do it. There's a lot of great entries and they really deserve to be checked out, because of course I can only show a small part of them in this short amount of time. Anyway, let's get started with the lowest ranked one, and then I will continue on until finally we have the winner of this round. Alright, in last place we have this entry made by Zode. So Zode made a Game of Thrones inspired dueling coaster. This is, if you know the series, you will probably recognize this as the wall. It's a big wall of ice. Here's Castle Black with the elevator. And there's two dueling dragon coasters from one of the expansion sets. But yeah, as we can see in these contests, invisible tracks really usually don't score very well, and this one was no exception. Hence why it ranked in last place. So yeah, in the future you probably want to make your track visible, and actually I think this would have actually looked very cool with a visible track right here. Alright, in 28th place we have this entry from Buzz the Noob. Right, the coaster actually looks quite decent. I think it's missing a bit of interaction. Let's speed it up a little bit so we get to see them in action. So yeah, they just race around each other. There's some really tight helixes here. And here they actually twist around each other a few times. I think what held this entry back from scoring higher is the buildings. So yeah, I don't know what these walls are doing here. These buildings are quite blocky. They have lots of the same surface everywhere. And these buildings could really use some windows. Also, what you can see here is that these walls are sticking out a bit, and I saw that a few times more throughout this entry. You can also see it here. So yeah, that looks really sloppy, and yeah, that's really what kept this entry from scoring any higher. Also, when you make buildings, you should really put lots of decorations. Try to put some windows, maybe chimneys, balconies. Just try to make it look interesting, or else you won't get a very high score. Alright, in 27th place we have this entry from Lucas Yi. He made two Dueling. I think they're floorless twister coasters. Well, obviously they're made to look like vertical drop roller coasters, but they even have the little holding brake for the drop here. Yeah, he probably just wanted to make them go through the inversion correctly. Well, the reason why this entry didn't score very high is mostly because the coasters are lacking interaction. I mean, they're quite far apart here, and also at some key points like these two inversions, they really should have gone through the inversion at the same time, just to add that extra interaction and just cool looks to the coaster. So yeah, I think that's kind of a missed opportunity. Other than that, there are some nice buildings here. But of course, this is the Dueling coaster contest, so this is the main attraction of the park. So if that's not very good, then your score will also not be very good. Other than that, I do like the contrast of the red sand and the desert with the trees. So at least that's a positive. Okay, then we have a tie for 25th place. This one was made by Kaas Vlinder. He made two Dueling wooden coasters. Well, this was actually one of my least favorite entries. The reason for that is mostly that well, the layout, as you can see, just covers a lot of the map, and it's not very easy to see where the coaster goes. It just looks quite messy here, and that's really what kept me from scoring it any higher. So I think the coaster cars could have used some nicer colors. Other than that, the plot is nice and filled. But yeah, the coaster layout really could have been a little bit cleaner, just so it's easier to follow it throughout the map. Alright, also in 25th place we have this entry from Group. Now, he actually did something really funny. He made two invisible coasters. I think they're hot rod coasters. I think they're a version of the air-powered vertical coaster. But yeah, these are the front cars. They actually look quite cool. So yeah, one of the reasons many people didn't score this very high is that it doesn't actually look like a coaster. Some people were really confused with this ride. I actually thought it was very creative. But yeah, I'm not the only one who votes. I also like these moving cars. They're pretty cool. The traffic here. Here's another ride. But yeah, I actually had to dock half a point from the score because he actually used 3 extra track rides and only 2 extra track rides were allowed. So yeah, he has a mini golf, this big monster track ride, and the traffic, and that was more than was allowed. So yeah, he only dropped 1 place because of that penalty, but still, I actually thought this was quite cool. Alright, then we also have a tie for 23rd place. This is the entry from Lycos Gen. He made these Dueling mine train coasters. I actually quite like this long diagonal chain lift. That's pretty cool. That's really an eye catcher in this park. Other than that, well, yeah, these coasters duel with each other, but let me speed it up a little bit. So yeah, in this first half, I think they could have been timed a little bit better, just so we had that nice interaction here in the beginning. But then in the later half of the coaster, the interaction is actually a lot better. But other than that, I think the coasters could have used some extra speed. And when you make coasters, you should really, it usually looks best if you keep them off the ground a little bit, just so you get those supports everywhere. Real coasters also have supports everywhere, and I think that generally just looks a lot nicer. But yeah, other than that, I like this little horse area that's here. That's quite cool. Alright, also in 23rd place we have this entry from Deeth, or Ben between brackets. He made this Dueling wooden coaster. So yeah, there's actually a smaller coaster called Gucci and a bigger one called Cosmic. I don't exactly recall what exactly the story was. He wrote a huge story for this entry. I have to admit I didn't read it all, just because I was busy making a voting poll. But still, I really like this wooden coaster. It looks quite nice, and it's fun how there's a smaller and a higher one. The interaction between them could have been a little bit better, but still, this is a really nice effort. Now, I actually didn't really like the roof for the station. The station is just massive, and there's probably better ways to do this. As an extra ride, he actually put this steeplechase track. It's actually just 1 coaster. I think that's quite funny. Something else that he probably did wrong in his plot is that he removed the supports under these ships with Tile Inspector. So he moved them under surface, I think. And if you do that above water, then objects above it might get glitchy, and that's what you see here. These ships are really blinking like Christmas lights, so you should really avoid that. That is probably something that really hurts his score. Alright, in 22nd place we have this pair of coasters made by Nick Badlick. So yeah, the story was that there was a kiddie coaster, the blue one. I'll speed it up a little bit so we can see it in action. And then later, this other coaster was built next to it. It's a launched coaster. It actually goes ahead of the other one quite far. And they interact at the viewpoints in the ride. I actually think I wish the interaction in the first half here was also a little bit better, because one coaster is just ahead of the other for quite a big part of the ride. I do like how it goes through the loop while the other coaster's going through it, so that's quite cool. Other than that, I don't really like the layout of this coaster. But yeah, all in all, not a bad effort. I do like the trees that he put here and how he decorated the area. That's at least quite nice. Alright, then in 21st place we have this entry made by Timidator. He built these two Dueling twister coasters. I think it's a shame that one of them goes through the drop earlier than the other one. But here, in this inversion, they have some nice interaction. Other than that, I think in this half of the coaster, they actually go through these loops. Well, they are timed quite well, so that's a nice interaction. I don't actually know what these towers are. I think they're kind of strange. But yeah, I like these curves going in the other direction. That's a nice part. I do think Timidator needs to really work on his buildings, because these buildings just look a little bit bland and uninteresting. This could be done a lot better. So yeah, that's definitely something to improve on. Alright, in 20th place we have this entry made by Jake Calanat. He made this Dueling mine train coasters. So yeah, they actually look quite nice. I do think this first hill right after the drop is a bit sharp. This would probably be not very comfortable on your neck. But other than that, I think the coasters look quite nice. They interact okay. I think they actually go underground here for a bit. Yeah, they do. So probably, yeah, then they go above ground somewhere here again. Oh, there's actually some shenanigans going on here. That looks cool. Oh, so the tracks actually pass over each other here, through each other. And here's a part where they go, where they also go through each other. So yeah, that's quite cool. I actually didn't notice that before. Now in here, above the water, there's sort of a pier area. We also with a car ride. Actually, the first time he submitted the car ride really didn't have any decorations, but I told him he should probably make some decorations there. So he actually put some buildings around it, and he actually made a submerged part for the cars, so they go underwater here. So yeah, I think he definitely improved this area, and that's why his score also improved a little bit. So yeah, 20th place for this. It's not bad at all. Okay, in 19th place we have this plot from a newcomer called 42. He made these Dueling twister coasters in a Roman setting. So yeah, they go around this land here. I actually like how they go through the loops at the same time, and they actually they are next to each other for a lot of the time. They go through the corkscrews here. I think these coasters interact very nicely. So yeah, they're timed well. So that's really good. What I don't like about this entry, or what could be improved, is that the guests are really all on this side of the plot. I think it would have been nice if we could actually see some guests here walking between the coaster. Maybe have a ride here or two. I think that would have added some movement, some life to the park. I think that then it would have scored a lot better. Alright, then in 18th place we have this entry from Trumavarium. Also a newcomer in this round. He made these two Dueling Giga coasters. I actually don't really like when people split their chain lifts. I can see why he did it, but it usually looks better if you just make one straight chain lift and just use that. Another thing I didn't really like is that well, if you make a Giga coaster with such short hills and tight turns, you probably shouldn't use such long trains. In my opinion, that just looks a bit weird. I think this would have looked a lot better if the trains were like 3, 4 or 5 cars. That would have probably made a little bit more sense. But yeah, also I think the park looks a bit gloomy. Of course, it's probably part of the theme, industrial waste facility or something that was reused as a roller coaster. You can see lots of mess here on the ground. But yeah, I generally like parks that are a bit more cheerful. But overall, not a bad entry at all from this newcomer Trumafarium. I can't wait to see what he comes up with in the next contest. Alright, then we have this entry from Rupin in 17th place. So yeah, another Dueling mine train coaster. I actually do think this layout is quite messy, and with that I mean that it's quite hard to follow the trains through the layout. I usually try to keep my layouts clean so they're easy to follow. And well, yeah, these coasters mostly go their own paths through this layout. I think that could have used a little bit more interaction. But what I really liked about this entry was the station. I think the station looks really nice, so good job on that. Also, these coasters are timed quite well. But yeah, overall not a bad entry at all from this newcomer. So great job. Okay, in 16th place we have this entry from Jag 140. So yeah, this is a really nice looking plot, great scenery. He used lots of scenery from the expansions, lots of the canyon rocks. I also really like this city that he put here under the rocks. That looks really awesome. But yeah, also the rapids, they look really nice. It's a bit glitchy here though, but I can forgive him for that because it looks really nice. And then the bad points. Well, this is really a unique idea. He made a stagecoach, a wooden coaster with stagecoach cars and steeplechase duel with each other. What most people complain about actually is that the rides don't really interact. So yeah, they really go their own way through the coaster, and they really well, they don't interact much. The riders of the steeplechase don't actually see the stagecoach very often. So yeah, I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, if they interacted a bit more, this would have definitely gotten a much higher score, because it also looks awesome. So yeah, I'll stick to what I said earlier. I think this is a missed opportunity, but great work on the scenery. Alright, in 15th place we have this entry from It's Just Curtis. He made this really cool dueling wooden coaster. I think they're timed quite well. They interact nicely. They're racing next to each other for throughout the layout. I think it just works really well. It's timed really nicely. I really like the look of this station. That's pretty cool. Also, there's a tram line here on the mine train coaster track. So some jet skis, some underwater plants. I think they look a bit too much the same, but still really nice effort. Here's a little pier. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to look at here, and I think it's all executed really well. So yeah, great job. Alright, then we have a tie for 13th place. this one's made by Bamovich, and this one's really unique. So yeah, there's actually one of those coasters from the expansion with cars, and it's actually being chased by police cars. So yeah, I think this one's called Breakout, and this, well, yeah, this is probably the Pursuit. It's actually misspelled, but who cares? So yeah, the cars just race around the land here, and the police cars chase them. Sadly, they do clip through each other for some bits of the ride. I think that's a shame. That's probably something many people didn't really like. I'm not actually sure if other people also noticed, but I noticed it for sure. But yeah, it's definitely a very unique entry. I do really like all these buildings that he put here. The city looks pretty cool. But yeah, people, if you use the expansions, really avoid using these fountains. They look really silly compared to the fountains that are normally in the game. So yeah, you should really try to avoid using these fountains. Alright, also in 13th place we have this coaster made by I Am Bear. Now what you will probably immediately see is the great looking buildings here. They look awesome. I don't know what set he used. I think this is a combination of some sets of one of the expansions, but yeah, combined with the metal roofs. I really like the look of these buildings, so work well together greatly with these conifers. So yeah, that's really the strong point of this entry. Now he made this Dueling Giga coasters. You can actually see them go here. Let's speed it up a little bit. So yeah, they have a big drop here, then they continue throughout the rest of the track. Now one thing I immediately should say is that if your map size is this small, you should try to avoid making coasters that are so high. If you make your coaster so high, well, for a lot of the track there will be a jungle of support blocking the view from other areas of the park. It's often quite tough to decorate coasters that are so high off the ground. And yeah, throughout a lot of the layout they will actually have a very high speed, making them go over every hill with a speed that's probably a bit too high. So yeah, this layout would have probably been better if the coaster was a little bit less high than this. But still, it's a great looking map. The thing I enjoy most is these intertwined inclined helices. That's really well done. Alright, in 12th place we have these Dueling coasters made by Henk the Super Nerd. He made the eel and the snake. I actually rated this one really highly. I wish it scored a little bit higher, but yeah. I actually really like how these coasters interact. They're next to each other for most of the track. I think maybe it could have used an inversion or two. I'm not sure if both of these trains can do inversions. I think one of them is a hyper coaster, not sure. But yeah, I really like the look of these coasters. This first drop is great with the waterfall. Some really nice buildings throughout the entry here. I love these buildings. This castle looks really nice. The station for this coaster is also in the building. So yeah, this was definitely one of my favorite entries of this round. I'm really sad to see it didn't score any higher. But of course, I'm not the only one who has to vote. Over 30 people voted on this, so that's why this entry got the score it has. But yeah, definitely a great effort and one of my favorites of the round. Great job from Henk the Super Nerd. Alright, in the 11th place we have this coaster made by Jibus. I don't know how to pronounce it, I probably butchered the name. So he has made these Dueling Giga coasters. they're all in the same grey color, but yeah, it just works great together with these cool looking buildings. A lot of track texture here. Yeah, the coasters do all nicely. I really like these custom supports that he made using this wooden wild mouse track. The coasters follow each other throughout the track nicely. I think they are a bit fast over these really short hops. Maybe that would have been better if the cars were, if the trains were a bit shorter. So yeah, really, if you have a layout with lots of short hops, it's definitely better to have shorter cars. But other than that, this is just a really nice looking entry. It just, yeah, I don't know, it has something that just makes it nice to look at. So the layout is just the fact that these cars are next to each other all of the time make the layout quite clean and easy to follow. And there's still space between the coaster for gardens and other nice stuff. So yeah, that's really done really well. It's a great composition, I guess. Alright, then we get to the top 10. In 10th place we have these Dueling coasters made by Mamarias. I also rated this one a 10, just because I really love the way these coaster trains interact. It just works so well. Yeah, they just pass through these elements all at the correct time. It's just done so amazingly well. Yeah, what probably kept other people from also rating it very highly is that, well, other than these two coasters, of course, there are these awesome buildings here. That's really nice. But people probably wanted some more content here in the map. Of course, that's always a risk you take if you fill a map with water for a large part. But yeah, I really loved this entry. So yeah, great score with 10th place. Alright, then in 9th place we have this entry made by Popsicle Penguin. Popsicle Penguin made this insane building. It's just using a lot of the future set, lots of glass. Yeah, this building just looks insane. It's really nice looking. There's just interesting stuff to look at everywhere, and of course there's also a Dueling coaster that goes throughout this plot. There's a bit of an Asian garden here with pagodas. I guess it's contrasting a bit with this side of the plot. It reminds me a bit of my of the multiplayer round 10, the plot I worked on with Supra the Hedgehog and a few others. But yeah, that's everything that I like. What I didn't like about this entry, personally, is well, the coaster is actually quite high off the ground here in this part. So there's actually a sea of supports under the coaster. I always try to not have my coaster above the ground for such a long amount of time. So that's actually what kept me from scoring this higher than 8. But many people love this entry, and yeah, I absolutely love the buildings in this entry. So great work from Popsicle Penguin. Alright, in 8th place we have this entry from Julia Mild. Now, actually, Julia Mild forgot to give these coasters names, also for the other rides on the plot, on the entry. So I was actually asked to take Julia Mild out of the contest. Well, Julia Mild asked me, but I decided to keep it in anyway. And it's probably a good thing I did, because it still got 8th place. So yeah, this castle here looks absolutely amazing. These coasters go dual through the plot in a great way. I love how they are right above each other in this area. That's really clever. Of course, there are some things I didn't like. I'm not sure if these supports were actually supposed to be visible, but they are visible here. Of course, the coasters don't have a name, but I don't really mind. Something I didn't really like is For example, you have this big drop here, and then right at the bottom there's this small hump. I doubt that would be very comfortable for the guests to ride. So yeah, that's a weird choice. But other than that, this entry just looks amazing, and I love the castle here on the top. So once again, great work from Julia Mild. Just looks awesome. Alright, then here we have the entry from Swag Titties. He just got married, I believe. So he actually made a wedding themed dueling coaster. So yeah, the coasters actually get launched here. Let me speed it up a little bit. So yeah, they go through these helices here. There's some small hills here. The coasters are called Bride and Groom, by the way. They go through the loops here, and then some more track here, just throughout the plot. So really cool looking river rapids here. That looks really nice. Of course, I also love this wedding cake that he made. And what I like most about this entry is the buildings that he made. These buildings look awesome. It's really great work on these buildings. They look really nice, great track texture, and I actually love this trick he did here. So there's actually a river rapids track here in the wall, and actually it looks like there's ribbons here. So yeah, that looks amazing. It's a trick I will probably steal in one of my next buildings. Also, there's a twist right here called Drunk Uncle. But yeah, you should really download this park for yourself and check it out. This is just an amazing entry. What actually kept me from scoring this higher was well, yeah, everything just looks awesome, but the coaster layout is just a bit bland. It could have probably used some more exciting elements. But yeah, overall this entry is as amazing buildings. If you ever want to learn how to make nice buildings, go download this entry and see for yourself. Alright, then in 6th place we have this entry from Ande23, and damn, this entry just blew me away. I can only imagine how much time it must have cost to build all this. So yeah, he made this huge UFO here in the sky, and damn, it's just full of track texture. It's just insane. Just look at all these track pieces here. This must have taken ages, and everything just looks awesome. I really love this dome that he put on top. He actually created it with track pieces and glass underneath. That looks awesome. Also, I really love this all these trees that he encased in ice here. It just looks some sort of bio lab. Everything connected with track and texture. That's just awesome details. Some I think they're power wires or no other wires. But yeah, this is just one amazing looking entry. It's just damn, it's awesome. Also on the ground here you can see this farmland, actually probably with crop circles. It's pretty cool. Some cool looking buildings here. The farm with silos. It's just yeah, this is one of the most insane things I've ever seen in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. So yeah, great work from Ande23. Alright, then we actually had a tie for 4th place. This entry was made by Ayertont. He made this great Dueling coaster. Actually has lots of nice interaction. You can see it here with the corkscrews. Again here they pass right next to each other. They actually have interlocked loops here. And some more crazy shenanigans here. So yeah, there's actually a great dueling coaster here right in the corner. The amazing station. This building just looks so nice. Great usage of all different kinds of track. Actually maze pieces here. There's I think it's air-powered vertical coaster track on the top. And in the other half of the plot there's this huge horse riding area. So we actually used invisible steeplechase track here. And I love how you can see these horses jump over all these obstacles. And I love these stages that he made here. So yeah, this just looks amazing. This is a really nice job. Also one of my favorites of this round. And yeah, he really deserves this to have ended up this high in the ranking. Great job. Definitely one of my favorite entries of the round. Alright, and then the other person in 4th place was actually me. So yeah, in the video where I announced this contest, you could actually see me build these two Dueling flying coasters. I actually gave them a different color. Well yeah, if you want to see the coasters for yourself, you can just download this park. If you're a member on my Discord, just go to the archive and there you can download all the entries. Also of previous rounds, of multiplayer rounds, everything's there. So yeah, I built this Dueling flying coaster. You can see it go through the track here. I think it has some nice interaction. I tried to make them go near each other during inversions. You can see it here in the first drop, pretzel loop, some inversions here. And here actually they pass over each other. And I was trying to make sure that yeah, the riders would be facing each other during this ride. Actually made a crazy double inversion here using the corkscrew. Well, normally the flying coasters cannot do corkscrews, so I had to do some merging tricks, and actually I had to use the laydown coaster trains on this flying coaster, just because flying coasters don't have sprites for corkscrews, but laydown coasters do. So that's why that's laydown coaster trains. But I don't think anyone will actually notice. No, I'm really happy with the layout. I just love how they interact with each other. I also made a nice river rapids ride here throughout the park. I actually made a big drop here inspired by my latest trip to Legoland Billund in Denmark. It also has river rapids with a vertical elevator and then a big drop and then a splash at the end. I actually wedged in a little kiddie ride here right under the first drop. I really like the way it worked out. And put some volcanoes here. I actually crashed a ride into the volcanoes to get this smoke effect. And well yeah, if you want to see the rest of the park, just download it and go check it out. I'm really happy with the way this park looks. It's actually one of my favorite areas of the park. So yeah, go and check it out. I'm really happy with 4th place. And okay, I wish it would have scored a little bit higher, but 4th place not bad at all with 29 entries, so I'm happy about that. Alright, let's get to the top 3. In 3rd place we have a newcomer on my server. This one was made by Skiva, and damn, this is just so good. So yeah, there's these two Dueling, I think it's floorless coasters. And the interaction between these rides is just so good. I love this part where there's an Immelman and a dive loop next to each other. The supports under these coasters are great. I love how we used the inverted impulse coaster to make these crazy supports here. So yeah, it's just good looking throughout the map. I also love this helix here with this inversion going through it. Everything here just looks amazing. So when you zoom out, I think this is great composition. So yeah, it is a small map in the end, but I definitely hope to see more entries from Skiva in the future, because this looks amazing. Also, this lighthouse is a really cool. It's really cool. It actually has a small ride going around here in circles, which actually looks like the light going around. I actually only just noticed this little detail, but yeah, I gave this this entry the highest score it could get anyway. So yeah, go and download this plot and check it out. It's really great. I love it. Alright, then in second place we have this amazing castle made by Heiko. And damn, this one is amazing. So yeah, actually the coasters go up this here vertically, end up in the towers, and then you can see them go here, and they just have great interaction throughout the ride. I love how they race down here right next to each other on this vertical track. There are some loops right next to each other. And here you can see them have some more interaction. I mean, yeah, this is just really well done. So really well deserved second place. This is just a great and awesome Dueling coaster. And yeah, in this contest, interaction was really important for the rides, and this coaster is just full of it. So yeah, it really has everything: interaction, nice buildings. It's just awesome. So yeah, like the previous entries, just go download it and check it out for yourself. There's just so much to see here in this entry. Great buildings throughout. So yeah, if you want to learn how to make nice buildings, also this entry is really worth checking out. It's just really nice layering on these buildings, nice color choices. Just yeah, very well done. Alright, and here's the winner of this contest. This is the entry made by Mackett. Mackett got a really high score in this contest, and yeah, also these coasters, great interaction. They race each other throughout the map. Yeah, they're timed really well, and yeah, everything here just looks really nice. There's also a river rapids going around here. All the colors work really well. Nice buildings. This entry just has everything you need in this contest. Some nice waterfalls here, little rivers. There's a little Indian village. Some boats here on the shore. Oh, there's even some bones here on the river, on the bottom of the river. Some nice bridges. Well, yeah, I could go around this plot for a long time. There's just little details everywhere, and that just makes everything so interesting to look at. You can also see this Ferris wheel here in the water. There's a water wheel. So yeah, there's just nice little details everywhere. So that's also what you should go for when you make an entry for this contest yourself. Try to keep it interesting throughout the map, and that should give you a high score. Alright, well, those were all the entries for the Dueling Coaster contest. In a few days, when the month of June starts, we'll start a new contest. The next theme is still a secret, even to me. Even though I organized the contest, I'm not sure what we are going to do yet in the next edition, but I can already tell you it will be awesome, and I hope to see as many people join again as did in this round. Now, if you want to join any of these contests, simply join my Discord server. The link is in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you joined the contest, I want to thank you all for joining. It's great to see what everybody made. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again in the next one. See you later.